Hello and welcome to Plus Sports on Plus TV Africa. My name is Mikhail Tinubu. It's Friday and the weekend is here. So as we begin this weekend, looking forward to the relevant sports stories that are bound to come up. Of course, the World Cup is still on all of our minds, and yesterday proved to be a difficult day for many teams as they found disappointment in the realization that they would not be going to the final 16 group stage. The fact is, Belgium didn't clothe themselves in glory, and certainly Japan did better than anyone could have expected at the beginning of the competition. I will be discussing all of these relevant sports stories with Seun Ajidagba, who's on the line with me this morning. Now, let's start with the first story. Belgium coach Roberto Martinez stepped down on Thursday, December 1st, following his side's World Cup first round exit, saying he had made the decision to end his 6-year tenure some time ago and would have left even if they had been crowned champions. It ends a long spell in charge of the side in which he took them to number 1 in the world rankings and 3rd place at the World Cup in Russia. Belgium missed numerous opportunities to score the goal against Croatia that would have taken them through to the knockout stages, but had to settle for a 0-0 draw and 3rd place in the pool behind Morocco and Croatia. It summed up a disappointing campaign in which they scored only once across 3 matches and made more headlines for reported off-field squabbles than their football on the pitch. Martinez admitted this might be the end for some of the team's golden generation, but believes he leaves the team with a fresh band of young players to take them forward. With me and Seun Ajidagba to discuss this story. Seun, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mikhail. Good morning to you and to everyone on Plus TvAfrica. Happy New Month.
And to you too. Thank you for joining us. Belgium has just lost its coach. By mutual agreement, it wasn't a resignation, it was just an end to a contract. Martinez says that he believes he has done a good job. He has developed a crop of a generation of Belgian players over 6 years. Some would argue that this is the golden generation of Belgian football players. And he has now set up a platform for another generation to take over from the likes of Eden Hazard, Kevin De Bruyne. But we saw during this World Cup that the backline is aged and not quite as young as some of their other teams that they faced. Obviously, Croatia has a lot of old players in their ranks. But in your assessment, has Roberto Martinez done a good enough job to say, yes, in 6 years, he has done the job that was asked of him?
Michael, thank you for the opportunity once again. Even when we knew that his contract ended, in any right-thinking situation, Martinez does not deserve an extension. And to tell me that finishing in 3rd position in Russia 2018 is an achievement, I think Martinez should be ashamed of himself based on the talent that he has in that team. I always say something, Mikhail. Nobody remembers the team that finishes 2nd at any tournament, especially the World Cup. The only reason you talk about Croatia finishing in 2nd position is when you want to cite reference of the team France defeated to win the tournament. They don't come into the conversation. So World Cup is more like winner takes all. And if you have those superstars and all you can achieve with them is bronze medal, I think it's a shame.
Well,
and that shame should be extended to a player like Kevin De Bruyne also, who came out after the game against Morocco that the players are old. That's why they could not perform. Where is the place of experience? And I like what you said, Mikel, when you talk about Croatia. Look at the experienced team that they have in their ranks. The only 2 people that started that game against Morocco was Amadou Onana in the midfield and Timothy Castagne from the left back. Every other person in that team, we all know them. So they all showed that they cannot rise to the occasion. and they should be ashamed of themselves. In all honesty, that thing should be overhauled.
Well, with all of the performance that Belgium has put in over the last few years under Martinez, being top of FIFA ranking for so long, yes, it's always been expected that they should absolutely go ahead and win a tournament. The competition has always been fierce, though. The likes of Germany, Spain, France, for example, England, Portugal, even for a time was European champions. Do you think that a question can be raised about the circumstances of the times that this golden generation was playing in? Because we've seen many countries develop a project, start off a project, and 6 years is a decent amount of time to set up a project that develops a new generation. Given that the Belgium before this current generation wasn't the Belgium that could compete, do you think, because some countries do set up a project and they expect so much from that generation of players, just like England for so long have been unable to go ahead and win a major tournament? At a time when they had David Beckham, they had Scholes, they had Steven Gerrard, they had Frank Lampard in their midfield, they had Joe Cole. They had so many talents, and yet it just never happened for them. Does the timing of the development of such a golden generation, does it matter to the discussion about whether they've underachieved or not?
It doesn't matter, Mika. It got to the top ranked position in FIFA. Even when I have issues with FIFA ranking, I always say that rankings don't matter. But this was a team that was once ranked world number 1 and became number 2 behind Brazil. And you have those players, Torgan Hazard, Eden Hazard, Romelu Lukaku, Michy Batshuayi, Dries Mertens, Kevin De Bruyne, Toby Alderweireld, Jan Vertonghen, Thibaut Courtois, Simon Mignolet, and you cannot make anything out of it. It's not a case of the period they found themselves. It's a case of these guys failed to rise to the occasion. That's why having the superstars in that team, they failed to live up to the expectation. And that's the truth. They failed to live up to the expectation. Even the Croatians don't have this number of talent that they have. They finished in second position. Look at the French team that even won the World Cup. And look at this Belgian team. You want to say that they are almost at par. And then you cannot make anything out of it. It's not a case of the situation that they found themselves. It's a case of superstars not reaching their optimum potential.
But do you think that is down to the manager, or do you think that the players themselves just don't have the same gravitas as in their national side as a unit as they do in their respective club sides?
Managers and players, the two are intertwined. I will not separate one from one. Like they always say, the buck stops at the table of the coach. And when things are not going on fine, I expect the players to also rise up and take the game by the scruff of the neck. And that's why I'm angry with a player like Kevin De Bruyne that I always see as a system player. Yes. You see them at Man City and they'll be flaunting as if now they run this town. But when it gets to their national team, they cannot do anything. It's a shame. I've seen Kevin De Bruyne carry a game on its head at Man City. Yeah. I've seen Romelu Lukaku carry a game on his head even when he was at Inter Milan and at Chelsea. I've seen players like Dries Mertens say, okay, I'm going to take up responsibility today at Napoli when he was still there. Mention all of them. And when you came to clutch, you cannot do anything. Do you want to hear the truth? They were supposed to lose all their matches in that group. It was because Canada was inexperienced. That's why they lost that game. Just imagine that Alphonso Davies had converted that penalty and they will be leading 1-0 before they eventually scored. But when they met teams that are more compact and more tactically astute, you saw what happened. They could not beat Croatia, and see how Morocco took them to the cleaners.